Okay, guys, this is the first time I live stream, probably about 4, 5, 6 months. I don't know. So I'm gonna do this for tomorrow because we have a quiz and I have a meeting to get to. So this is probably the easiest way I can do this. Okay. First of all, if any parents are watching this, please review the review sheet I sent home today. All of lesson 4 material that your child should have in their divider should also have a inside their binder. They also should have a divider that covers the vocab words, and we kind of did a Frayer model vocab and their binder, their divider. Just ask them about it. They should know about it. If they don't, just message me on Class Dojo, and I'll be happy to help you out. So we're gonna have a quiz tomorrow on comparing and rounding decimals, and on Friday we'll do a standards mastery test. The standards mastery test is actually more of a way that I can evaluate myself and the way I teach to make sure I covered everything that needed to be covered, and if I missed anything, I can go back over it. So, with that being said, I want to talk about one thing in science, and then we'll go ahead and we'll talk about the math stuff. So, if you have a chance today, talk about the hurricane. One of the standards in 5th grade science is being prepared for a hurricane, and that we live in the tropics. And because we live in the tropics, our latitude is closer to the equator, and we have tropical weather, tropical storms, and hurricanes. So this is an excellent opportunity to just talk about an emergency preparedness plan you might have in your family. And it could be as simple as when the hurricane gets close, we're going to go to Publix and buy all the water we can find. It's pretty much what I do. So just really take this opportunity to talk to them about it. The storm, there's some amazing videos, some heartbreaking videos too, but it's an excellent opportunity. So a shout out to a few people, which Johnny the Fortnite boss, I don't know who you are. Hey Jelly Bean, miss having you in class. It's all about the you. Okay, so on the quiz tomorrow, these 3 questions I'm going to cover are going to be almost identical to questions on the quiz. This is a sheet, it's page 32. Your student, are you guys already know this? You have this in your binder, okay? So let's look at number 1. The question on number 1 is the weights of 4 similar packs of tomatoes are listed below. Hey Jonathan, Malcolm rounds the weights to the nearest hundredth pound. Which weight does not round to 2 and 46 hundredths? So really simple. We just need to look at all the 4 packs and see where they would round to. So the question is asking us to round to the nearest hundredth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to underline the hundredth. And then I need to round the thousandths place. So I'm going to do this really simple. My goal is which weight does not round to 2 and 46 hundredths. I hope I'm not moving too quick. You can always pause, but I need to get to a meeting in about 10 minutes. So I'm going to look at pack A. Does 6 thousandths round 5 up or down? Well, that's going to round 5 up. So that's going to give me an estimate of 2 and 46 hundredths. So that rounds to that, so that's correct. So I'm going to cross that out. That's not one of my possible answers. My next one is 7. Does it round up or down? Same thing as 6. It rounds up. So it's going to give me an approximate weight of 2 and 46 hundredths. Once again, that does round to 2 46 hundredths of a pound, so I'm going to cross that out. Pack C. 4 would round down. So that would give me an approximate of 2 and 45 hundredths of a pound. So that does not round to 2 and 46 pounds. So that's my possible answer. I'm going to check the final one just to make sure. 9 would round up, so that would take me to 2 and 46 hundredths of a pound. So I can go ahead and cross that out. So my correct answer is C. The next question I want to look at is number 2. It says, which comparison is not true? So I just need to find the false one. So first, 1 and 78 hundredths is less than 1 and 92 hundredths. Well, that's correct. So I'm going to cross that out. Now this is the same thing as above, but it's in fraction form. So 1 and 78 hundredths is less than 1 and 92 hundredths. We already agreed with that. I'm going to cross that out. So now this is C is an expanded form. So I'm going to write that over here. we're going to have 1, then 7 tenths, and 8 hundredths. So less than, let's do this. We'll have 1, 9 tenths, 2 hundredths. So that's the same problem I've done 3 times. So I'm going to go ahead and cross that out. My fourth problem is, once again, is an expanded form. So I'm just going to write this down. I'm going to have 1 plus 70 tenths. Well, there's a problem there because that's an improper fraction. So I need to turn 70 tenths into a proper fraction. And the way I know it's an improper fraction is my numerator is larger than my denominator. 10 will go into 70 7 times. So that gives me 7 wholes. So I need to do 1 plus 7. That's going to give me 8. And that's going to cross out those 10s. And then I'm going to have 80 hundredths. And then I'm going to continue writing this out. It's going to be 1 and 92 hundredths. Well, obviously I know 8 is greater than 1, so it can't be less than. So I know that D is the problem, is the answer to my problem. Lastly and finally, I'm going to have Tori. I'm going to look at number 3. Tori and Alvin use a stopwatch to record the amount of time it takes a marble to roll down a 4-story ramp. Tori's marble takes 2 and 845 thousandths of a second, while Alvin's marble takes 2 and 835 thousandths of a second. Tell whether each sentence is true or false. So I need to use the information here to find out all these statements right here. So I'm gonna go statement by statement. A, rounded to the nearest tenth both times are the same. So let me look at if I round it 2 and 84 fifths and 2 and 835 thousandths. I'm going to use a pencil here so I can erase as I go. So for A, I need to round to the nearest tenths. So if I round, and when I round to the tenths, I don't care about the thousandths. I only care about the place in the immediate right. So I'm going to have 4 and 3. So I'm going to take 4 and that rounds down. So I'm going to have 2 and 8 tenths, and 3 rounds down. So that's going to be 2 and 8 tenths. So that's going to be marked true. B, round it to the nearest hundredth. Both times are the same. So now I need to change that place I'm rounding to. My hundredths is the 4-digit and the 3-digit. Hey, what's up, Kyler? So I'm going to have the 4, I'm going to round up. Because 5 makes me round up, so that's going to be 85 hundredths. Down here, I would have the 5, I would round up, that would give me 84 hundredths. So let me review B again. Round it to the nearest hundredth, both times are the same. Well, that's false based on what I just did. So this says both times are closer to 2 and 8 tenths than 2 and 9 tenths. So the one way I could do that, so I'm going to have a lot of scratch work over here, is I could do a number line. And if I had 2.8 and 2.9 here, I could do 10 marks, which would give me hundredths. So this would 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And bear with me, my number line's not the best number line. Kind of doing this in a haste. But right here would be 2 and 85 hundredths, because that's halfway between 2 and 8 tenths and 2 and 9 tenths. So if I come over here and I start looking at where I would plot these, well, 84 hundredths would be over here, somewhere in here, because it's about half. And then 83 hundredths would be somewhere probably 1, 2, 3, because it's about half, because there's a 5 in 1,000, so that tells me it's halfway between the hundredths place. And if I look, and I know my number line's a little lopsided, but it becomes before 2 and 85 hundredths. So that means I would round down. So they both times are more than halfway. I'm sorry, both times are closer to 2.8 than 2.9. Well, that would be true. Once again, sorry for my number line. Who plays Fortnite? You know Black Ops is coming out soon, right, Kyler? Now, so for D, I would say both times are more than halfway between 2 and 8400 and 2 and 8500. Well, if I look at that, I know right away that this one is not. Because this is 2, and if I just round it, and if I just ignored the thousands place for a second, I'm not going to round, but I'm going to ignore it for 1 second. Erase all this. Is right there is 8300s. So I know both times are not more than halfway between 2 and 8400s. Because I know this one is not, because right there is 8300s. So that's going to be less. So I know that's false, and I don't have to do any more work. Finally, it asks me, Alvin's marble was faster. So I'm going to go back and read the question again. Tori and Alvin use a stopwatch to record the amount of time it takes a marble to roll down a 4-story ramp. Tori's marble takes 2 and 845 thousandths of a second, while Alvin's marble takes 2 and 835 thousandths of a second. So if I'm faster, I want the least amount of time. Remember, if I'm a runner, I want a smaller time, not a greater time. So like running in races, it's really important that we have the shortest amount of time possible. So I want to find the least amount of time. So I already have mine lined up in place value almost. I have a ones, a tens, a hundreds, and a thousands column. So I'm going to compare left to right. I know I'm going to start with my ones column. So 2, they're the same. I'm going to cross them out. The tens column, the 8s are the same. So I'm going to cross them out. Now in the hundreds column, the 4 is greater than the 3. So I know that 3 is the less number. So who had the time of 2 and 835 thousandths? Well, if I go back to here, it says Alvin's marble takes 2 and 835 seconds. So Alvin's marble was faster. So those are the first 3 questions. We did this in class, but your students should be able to finish this at home or just review it with them. These 3 questions are almost identical to questions that they will have on their quiz tomorrow. Once again, I know it was fast. I have a meeting I have to get to. Please just message me on Class Dojo if you have any questions. Have a great day. Jonathan, Kyler, and Jellybean, thanks for hopping in the chat. And if you subscribe to my channel, it will give you notification whenever I go live. All right, have a great day. Mr. Mouse.